Hi, everybody. Okay, I'm going to make a channeled video for humanity, and dang it, it's gonna be a happy video. Okay, this is like my 5th video here, and I'm determined for it to be positive. I'm supposed to indicate that I'm doing a December forecast video, so today is December 10th, and 2016, and so I want to see what Spirit has to share on this round. So they're pulling green energy out of my head. They're pulling it out of my head through the video and beyond. It just keeps coming out. I feel it coming out of my head as well. I'm just feeling it coming out of my head. It's fascinating how dense the energy is. I mean, I can actually feel it's like a pull and then pulling it out of the head. That's what it's like. It's crazy. So this green energy, right, is coming out. It's not necessarily being shared with anybody. I'm just experiencing it coming out. That's all I know about it. As it's coming out, there's a massive flash of lightning, and I see that it's total clouds and gloom. Gloom and doom. So I'm going to continue to experience and see what happens. I open my eyes and I see they have a red hue to them as I look up into the sky. There's some sort of messenger bird. I mean, it's spitting out like weapon. I mean, it's a bird. It looks like a pterodactyl, and then from its mouth is spitting out darts at me. But I myself also feel as violent as the violence that is being shared with me. They want me to say that again. They want me to say, on one side of the fence, we see a lightning strike, scary scene with the clouds and a storm brewing, right? And then pterodactyl with all these sort of darts. It's like violent weaponry raining down upon me. I myself also, I was just enjoying this green experience here. And then when I suddenly kind of transformed a little bit, and then I turned it scary. And now I too feel the call of the wild, or some sort of wild hair, and it feels like I too have a destructive nature as well. I don't know what to make of this. So this part of me that's in an observation of everything taking place is asking questions about why this is. About why this is the choice. This literally is the message. They are showing me human beings. Okay, how many different dynamic ways can we have an experience? So not only are we seeing violence, right? We are partaking in violence, and we are still choosing violence. I get that Abby, am not necessarily saying, yes, I want war. But I'm also, how do we as a team, how do we as many voices come out and say, I'm done. I'm done with violence completely. How do we choose that for each other? Because if we don't choose that for each other, it's going to continue. And you're going to always be on one side of a fence of violence. It's never going to go away until we choose to decide that love is more valuable than pain and suffering. Love is more valuable than our ego. Love is more valuable than anything else. So I'm watching this like a TV program from the side. I'm watching these two behaviors taking place. And who's going to win? They're both reflections of loss, if you ask me. But I see this now as sort of a super cloud of wisdom here. And now I'm looking at the screen of wisdom, and this is what I am seeing. This is what I am choosing to see, they say. So not only is this a reality that we are experiencing here, we are also choosing to see the reality. And then we choose to see it when we watch the news. We choose to see it when we read the newspaper. We choose to see it when we vote for violence, when we pay for war, when we don't choose to change anything. And then when we think about it as well, We can think about these things. We can think about it on the darker side as well. Think about the chaos from feeling like we are in the chaos. We can think about it to that degree, to the degree of feeling like we are a part of all of the violence, all of the chaos, all of the gloom and doom, all of the nightmares. How far can we separate ourselves from this? How far can we choose to allow that cloud to just go further and further into the distance? So war is real. So we acknowledge war is real. So let's just put it in our faces, right? And then start continue to think about it and then complain about it and wonder what we could possibly do about it. There's something about this. Obviously, if we're going to change the world, how do you change a world? You could potentially change it by just choosing not to support the news media, newspapers, not support the sharing of wisdom that keeps us looking at it. There's something about how it affects us in our heads and affects our positive well-being and affects our hearts and affects our motivations. It keeps us feeling miserable all the time. It keeps us feeling like we are a part of the scene of violence because we are living in a violent world. So I'm still standing here and watching the cloud and I'm contemplating what I will do, and I'm actually turning around and walking away from the cloud. Does walking away ever solve any problems? You have to ask yourself, what does that mean from many different angles? If you aren't supporting it, then what is there to support? If nobody jumps on a bandwagon, then there is no such thing as a bandwagon. If everybody just chose to say, no, I'm not going to carry a gun anymore, now suddenly there are no guns. So what is choosing to walk away and say I'm not supporting? How many people could do that? How can we band together and choose to just not support something anymore? There's something more to this message. I'm still trying to make sense of it. It's a sickening feeling. Because even when I choose to walk away and not support and choosing not to align with, I still feel the sickness. I still feel the violence and the terror. They ask me, why would that be? I am exploring it as though it is an energy vibration. Even if the violence and terror is happening a country far, far away from me, that doesn't mean that energy does not exist on planet Earth and that I am not a part of planet Earth. Just because that part of planet Earth is so far away doesn't mean that I don't have a connection with the Earth itself. Just because we feel like individuals doesn't mean that we can't partake in each other's experiences of misery. That we can't feel the pain and suffering of an entire globe. Perhaps human awakening is awakening to sensations of terror energy, because that is the reality of what is actually happening across the globe, all over the globe. And so if you're suffering or struggling with feeling like it's just too terrible, too terrifying, this world is just too dark and I can't tolerate it anymore, maybe that's because you're awakening to the reality of how bad it really is, and you weren't able to feel it before because you hadn't awakened to it yet. So now you awaken to it, and this is the air we are breathing. It always was this poisonous and this toxic. We just weren't awakened to the reality of how bad it actually is. So we are energetically awakening to the reality of what we've created here on our planet. And now what are we going to choose? They're saying there's one thing that I did not do. I did not choose to enter into this chaos, and I did not choose to share love with a pterodactyl, with the sky, and with that part of me that's eyes turned red. I chose to turn my back on it and walk away. They say that too it feels like a solution. There's more to this than we know. There's more to the value of choosing to walk into the chaos and then choosing to share love with it. How is chaos transformed? It transforms through love. Energy. So when you're having a really bad day, how do you transform a really bad day? You have to start trying to find a means to fill it with positive thoughts, positive experiences. Go see a movie, go walk outside. How do you change a bad day? How do you transform it? You have to transform it with love. How do you walk away from a bad day? You can't. You can't just walk away from a bad day. That's what they're saying. So they want me now to enter into this scene of chaos and share love with it. How can we start choosing to enter into the scenes of chaos and share love? How many different reflections of chaos exist here on this planet? They want you to see every reflection of chaos is actually a human being crying inside, and on the outside, a human being who is alone in an emotional strife, physical strife of all different kinds, and really sincerely needs a desperate hug. That is what the energy looks like. Chaos energy looks like this. Like a human being in suffering that needs a hug. If we transformed our guns into hugs, it would be a much different world. So I'm entering into this scene. I'm filling the sky with energy of calming demeanor, allowing the sun to rise, allowing birds to sing. This pterodactyl is really persistent. This pterodactyl does not want to stop. This pterodactyl it has made up its mind, and that is the only way. There is shame involved in putting down a belief system of violence. Because if you believed in violence for years of your life and now suddenly you're asked to not believe in violence anymore, there's shame and confusion involved with the ego. It has a very hard time doing that. It's a very hard thing to do. How do I help this pterodactyl realize that it's not the way? How do I help it? I have to discover that a part of me is also a part of it. And so I have to discover what part of me is a part of it so I can communicate with that version of me in order to talk on its level and then talk to myself, basically. It's really overwhelming on my heart. I'm not going to lie. This is really overwhelming on my heart. It's really hard to tolerate it. It's really hard to tolerate the way it feels. It just feels like murder, and that I'm swimming in it. Swimming in the energy that creates it. Swimming in the energy that inspires it. Swimming in the insistence that this is the way it needs to be. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting in the way it feels. If you could take violence and create a disease out of it, you would watch your skin peeling off from your body. You would be bleeding out of your eyes. Your body would be falling apart. You would be puking your guts out. Your hair would be falling out. That if you could turn violence into a disease, it would be so insanely disturbing. You would probably murder yourself before you ever got to the end of it. And we need to start looking at this. They are not. I mean, my spirit guides are not going to tolerate happy, happy, joy, joy messages. We need to make these messages of to talk about these things. And it's not enjoyable for me to experience it. It bothers me. It's probably why I don't watch television or read newspapers. I'm learning something about this. The thing that I am learning is about time and patience and acceptance. I chose to actually participate in healing the scene. And in the act of participating, I created a vibration of love that is inspiring change. It may not happen instantly, they're saying. They're showing me that change does happen over time when we continue to choose to try. We continue to choose to step into those scenes and share love with them. This pterodactyl is starting to turn into a real person. This real person is a little uncomfortable about the way that they had been behaving. And they're really ashamed and they don't want to acknowledge that they were wrong. But they are acknowledging they're wrong, which is why they are choosing to change. They're talking about generations of time. Younger generations wanting to see a world where there is no violence. So it becomes less and less a part of the reality. Because it's harder for adults to choose happiness. It's very easy for children to choose happiness. Even adults that really believe in violence at one time when they were a child did not believe in violence at all. How do we awaken that childlike innocence and love, unconditional love for all things? How do we awaken that within ourselves? The more that I stand in this scene of violence, the less disgusting it is getting because it is healing. It's like a horrible, festering, disgusting sore. I have to also choose to heal myself as well because I too changed. We need support. I'm discovering that when I turn my back on this pterodactyl that turns into a man, that's not good enough. Why am I the only person in this scene of chaos? How come there are not thousands of people helping these two to choose love? We need that much help to choose love. This man needs 1,000 people to help him understand that it's okay. We all make mistakes and we all were supporting it. And we're all choosing not to now, and you're not alone. So please don't feel ashamed of yourself at all. We were all wrong. We all were wrong. And so there's people coming to him now. A manifestation of 1,000 people, because I dreamed that 1,000 people would help this one man choose to let go of his insistence on war. It's helping his heart, and there's energy releasing from his body that was part of the contamination and the influence. He has a lot of voices that are really supportive of him and his choice to let go. The sky is still dark, but it isn't as dark. And this reflection of me is quite scary. I mean, red eyes, I look like a demon. They show me that on the inside, this demon is crying. This demon did not want to open its eyes to see that terror was attacking it. And then it did not know what else to do. It felt alone. It wondered why. Why would you choose me? I was experiencing healing and happiness, and for some reason you felt that it was appropriate to destroy me. But why? I watched this version of myself. I feel alone, and I'm just walking by myself. I have an experience of confusion. I don't seem to know who I am anymore. I feel confused as to my identity. I don't really know how I fit into all of this. And I'm tired of seeing the violence and the war. I'm so tired of it that I just want to recede from life and from living. I just want to just not be here anymore. That's the way this feels. There is an experience that I have in nature. They show me that there are quite a few entities of love that come through the invisible, the air. And they're smiling at me. I am still wearing like a black cloak, and underneath my skin is all black and sort of like burnt, and my eyes are still glowing red. It's kind of like a Darth Vader type of image. But I really am a humble human being on the inside of this, and I feel so confused and lost. I feel destroyed. I feel destroyed because I no longer see the gift of life. Because all I see is terror, and all I feel is terror. They're talking about letting it go. How do you let things go that influenced you to break to such a degree as this? How do you let something go that had influenced you to transform to this degree and to lose all hope, motivation, and heart? How do you let go of something that has inspired that within you? How did that man choose to let go of his violent nature? He too needed help. He too needed 1,000 human beings to love him, even though he was wrong. This one too needs that. That's what they say. But will this one allow 1,000 human beings to heal them? They say yes. This one will. Because this one hopes that will happen. This one believes somewhere deep down that that can be a real reality. There's still a delay in me choosing to see all the loving spiritual beings that are there smiling and helping me and loving me. I still am not able to see them, nor am I able to take off the cloak or transform my identity. I'm not able to return to myself yet. I'm having these emotional contemplations and that sort of thing. So I'm just watching and waiting. Again, they say time as well with this one. How fast can you heal a deep wound? Sometimes it would take the body months, maybe years even. Maybe it won't even heal in this lifetime properly. Maybe it will take lifetimes to heal that wound. So time, too, is a factor in what heals the wound. They show me that this person has seen far too much violence. They aren't saying that it has been the violence of war. Seeing too much violence and how it alters its reflections of people not choosing to love each other in all different ways. They say when people cannot accept one another for being different, that too is a reflection of violence and chaos, because it is not a reflection of love and acceptance. That too inspires wars. They're showing me a release of a contamination over the heart. Energy shared by heaven in order to heal this one. I can experience what is like a clamp. Like you have a clamp on the ground and then the bear walks into it and now its foot is caught into a clamp. It's like a clamp that is caught around the heart. And so they pry it open and then release it from the heart. This one, once it is released, feels extremely tired and just wants to sleep for a while. This one's laying down now and it feels comfortable to sleep against the earth. There's a breeze that is blowing, but this one does not feel cold. Just feels so exhausted that the fact that it's sleeping on hard ground, the fact that there's a breeze, it doesn't matter. It's just sheer exhaustion. I see the face change, and it looks like all different human beings. It looks like face is shifting. Female, male, different colors, different faces, different races. Thousands and thousands and thousands of faces in this one. Laying down, desiring desperately to experience peace from all of this. Exhausted, without strength or willpower to keep going. Life having been the influence of this deep wound that is so hard to heal. This one did not choose to experience violence. It was bestowed upon it. And then it altered it. There is still no acknowledgement of these faces. I'm telling you, the experience of exhaustion is in extreme. I mean, it is much harder for this one to find itself again than for the violent person to choose to stop. The violent person choosing to stop and let go was far easier than this person coming back to life again, because their heart was destroyed. Even if they're still living, their hopes and dreams just aren't there anymore. They're like a living dead person. Whereas this person was quite alive, quite content, quite certain of what they were doing. And then they're like, oh, probably shouldn't do that anymore. You're right. What have I been doing? There's something was far easier about transforming this one than it was to transform this one. They're saying still to give it time. This one will heal. This one needs rest. This one needs to feel safety. for a while, an experience of reorganizing itself to find strength again, reorganizing its identity, reorganizing its feelings about the world, and through time learning how to accept the world that it chose to experience. This one cries tears of black energy, dark negative energy. This one is spitting out dark negative energy now. This one is starting to stand up. It just wants to sit down though. It's like kind of coming to its feet, but it's looking for a tree stump or something to sit down on. This one is taking off the darkness now. I just want to be a man. I just want to be a woman. I just want to be happy. They encourage this one to see now the faces that have been smiling back this whole time. They encourage this one to experience the love that has always been there and that had never left. It was the perception that had altered through the experience of violence. That love had gone, but love never had gone. Love was always there the whole time. It only looked like it had not been there. It was an illusion. That love is not there at all times, because love is. This one is crying because the journey has been hard. This one says. This one is crying. This one is finding their heart again and is acknowledging that they do feel love around them now. This one says, I'm still scared and I still don't have a lot of reason to trust that this love will stay. And I don't want to leave this place because right now I can see and feel love, and I don't want to go back and have this be taken away and feel broken again. It was very hard to heal from that experience. Again, I hear the words time. Time heals all things. Time helps us be courageous in one lifetime and then fearful in another. Time challenges the soul. Time can create experiences of such bliss that you would never want to leave them, and time then seems to go so fast. Time seems to drag on for eons when you feel broken and destroyed. They're talking about time too being an illusion of the experience. They're saying, let it go. Let it all go. Let the pain and suffering go into the realm of love, so you can only feel then love surrounding you. They're showing me these happy faces in the air as this one begins to trust and love again, is inhaling these faces of love, is inhaling love into the body. Their energies of love are entering into this one. It is starting to heal from a very long sickness. A very long sickness that was emotionally and mentally debilitating. and then physically because the body became weak. I experience life returning, life force energy returning, and strength returning to the body, even where it doesn't have to sit down, where it actually can stand and choose to walk. They show me the scene shift. So this one had kind of a Darth Vader appearance, right? But now they show me Darth Vader walking very seriously, like you would see him in Star Wars, giving orders and telling people what needs to be done in order to ensure the Empire is, running functionally. But even he too had a change of heart now, didn't he? Even Darth Vader had a change of heart. Even in all of his darkness, in the end, he too did change. He too expressed love. He discovered something about love within himself. They say, doesn't matter how dark it gets, darkness does have a moment of self-discovery where it starts to feel the warmth of love return to its heart again, and it does choose to let go. People need to hear that darkness can experience the flame of love within its heart and can let go of its choices. Darkness can heal. That's what they say. They show me all sides of the reflection healing and softening in love, and love balancing all forces, creating a harmony that we all get to rejoice in. We all come to our senses and find a reason to love each other. They are leaving me with the scene of this person that is looking at the violence and asking, what is your choice? Do you choose to participate in healing it, or do you choose to walk away and disconnect from it as your version of healing through just choosing not to see? So that's what they say. That's what they have to say. Where's the Christmas music? Where's the Santa Clauses? Where's the happy joy? It's important these messages are. There's a reason why they're sharing these messages. There's a reason why. Okay, so that's all I have to share for this December forecast follow-up video. Oh, I can't settle with that. I'm gonna have to make another December forecast video because I really want there to be a little bit more warmth and a little bit more happiness, but maybe that's not the wisdom that is the most valuable for us right now. Spirit will always share what is the most valuable wisdom for us right now. And that is the message they feel is the most valuable for me to be sharing with everybody. So you get to decide what it means to you. So thank you for watching my video. If you are interested in working with me one-on-one, I do share spiritual healing and psychic wisdom at my website at abbynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you for watching.